Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lamandang Gumbun Jamba Yang Lan Chanza Lu Gangi Landun Jimyin Tendra Nindra Nandai Razai Jinyin Dem Jijin Sijin Yijin Dugar Lekban Zen Kondai Sibi Tsandara Mari Mentum Dunga Jizri Rozo Gunla Pujin Tatze Yan Lion Chuju Yang Den So Rudare Jedro Nemo Nilo Dejin Jadro Roze Jem Hare Menze Donga Nyugo Jinye Junze Roje Denin Dajin Soju Tazen Yunden Lezo Jazin Tuwe Chudan Chunyin Jin Dalmen Zazana de Marabazana 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 Marabazana de 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 Jiji Chenra Vesrenji Dalen de Mombarazan Kadan de Jishalo Tombai Lodre Bobino Sadus Jiji Mori Nachimura de Jado Majiba Polo Jinji Jinja Beja Jindu Jemama Balam Dingo Zunga Vajime Boninja Laninja Tujiwa Shivan Zerandam Jedu Tuji Jesu Zimbaze Duso Vija Zundaye Mungesa Zimbin Murash Simbeze Zelu Barvendo Kunmi Gindaze Jero Tuji Namabine Shirin Jidin Sumji Konjabe Bondu Monkarbesha Tirin Dalve Inzurshon Jinzur Bozerin Jevin Nanduran Jevin Jidu Zinzu Beje Denshon Barve Pema Junen Dale Inzurshon Shirazem, the Mangaran Jivani Human, So, Anna, it's just echo. It's just echo. Here, not here. No. Try when I talk. It's just not this one. Not this one. No, she. Anna, you know, right? Anna? She let her do it. No. It's just the echo. Now, these things. How is it? Now, no echo. Yeah, good. Okay. No echo, right? No echo. No echo. So, as usual, that having a right intention of studying, this is always we are reminding again and again. So in this case, since we are trying to learn, studying the Mahayana path, the Bodhisattva's way of life. So mainly this text is the showing that Bodhisattvas, their way of thinking and their conduct. So therefore, accordance with studying or learning this textbook, to have a right intention accordance with it is to think that in order to support or the help motherly sentient beings and to lead them to complete awakened, enlightened, I'm going to listen in this Mahayana text which called bodhicharyavatara, and whatsoever I understand through this learning, I'm going to try my best to put into practical in my day-to-day life for the sake of sentient beings. With that kind of intention, then listen this teaching. And the teaching itself, we are here in this stanza number 22. Stanza number 22, so far chapter, can summarize within 4 main theme or the 4 main categories, which are first is to say introducing that
in order to raise bodhicitta within oneself, and what we should, how one could raise bodhicitta within oneself. And then after raise the bodhicitta within oneself, and in order to maintain that bodhicitta, how to do it. And then, and not just maintaining, in order to enhance or the improved further that bodhicitta, and how one could improve or the enhance further. And then the final last category is the dedicating the whatsoever we've done through all these 9 chapters, like making able to raise bodhicitta and making oneself be able to maintain bodhicitta and making able to increase all this bodhicitta further. And whatever I did, all these actions, all these actions is the dedicating. So within these 4 categories, actually the very summary or the theme of this bodhicharyavatara is that. So among these 4 categories, we are in the first category. And first category, and which is now trying to talking about how to raise bodhicitta within oneself. And then there are 3 chapters. 3 chapters instructing us that in order to raise the generate bodhicitta within oneself, and how one should generate. And so the first and second, third chapter is about these three chapters are mainly talking about how to raise bodhicitta within oneself. And among the 3 chapters, so we are in first chapter here. And first chapter is the mainly talking about the value or the benefit. What kind of benefit that which we can get if we are able to generate bodhicitta within oneself. And then this first chapter is the first chapter is completely talking about the benefit of having bodhicitta within oneself, and how his Shantideva is taught this benefit of bodhicitta. So far, he taught it this benefit of having this bodhicitta by utilizing the many different examples. And in short, that as last time I said it like this bodhicitta is good for our past misdeed, and this bodhicitta is good for our future wholesome deed, and this bodhicitta is the also very good for our current present to deal with the source of problem or the root of the problem, which is self-centered attitude. Self-centered attitude is the source of all the problems. So this bodhicitta really deals with it directly, because this self-centered attitude and the concerning about well-beings, these are the totally 2 opposition emotions, completely opposite emotions. So therefore, if we able to increase within oneself, that then we are not giving any chances to within our mind to have a space for self-centered attitude, emotions. So that's how it deals direct, or it is the direct antidote to reduce the self-centered attitude. In short, However, bodhicitta is good for our past mistake, and it's also good for our future, future benefits, or future, for the whatsoever outcome, and the present, current, dealing with the very source of its problem. And with that kind of example, he gave it many examples to introduce the value of bodhicitta to us. And he already, provided evidence based on advice and based on history also. And now from here, he is using this common sense. And even yourself, you can use your common sense to understand the value of bodhicitta. And how one can understand using one's own common sense to understand the value of bodhicitta, then he using this stanza number 21 and 22 as the last week Sunday that we gone this stanza number 21, as it says that if with a kindly generosity one merely has the wish to soothe the aching heads of the other beings, and such a merit by doing that, by having that kind of like a willingness, knows no bound. And this is an example, the common sense he wants us to use here. That normally, yes, we are appreciating those. As I said last time, that even somebody said, oh, you may get well soon. And we appreciate that word so much. And that you may get well soon is just actually, it is good wishes. I'm not saying this, it is not good wishes. He's making good wishes for you. But compare with the bodhicitta, it is very tiny, small. He's making good wishes for just one particular person. And if the making good wishes for the one person is considering as a very kind way of thinking, kind mind, then it goes without saying the person who is making good wish for countless beings, countless people. That's the common sense that he is trying to introduce us to understand the value of bodhicitta through utilizing one's own common sense. That this second one, then here, stanza number 22, then he keep continuing. These two stanzas is related to each other. That it is keep continuing, that he's saying, Semchen rere me dewa padu me basal duji, rere on yunden pame du tubar deva mechi girls. Which means, they translated into English in this way, that if you have to relate this with the 21 stanza, okay, 21st stanza, that if that kind of making good wishes for the others is considering as a very such a merit known no bounds, and then no need to speak then of the wish to drive away the endless pain, right? The endless pain of each and every living beings. Each and every living beings. And not just drive away the endless pain, but also the bringing them unbounded excellence. That's the aspiration bodhicitta, right? Aspiration bodhicitta is wishing to the others, countless of beings, the drive away the endless pain of each and every living beings and bring them unbounded excellence to each and every living. These two stanza goes each other, they support each other. The first stanza, Shantideva is giving us this, our common sense, this is our normal way that we normally do. When somebody make good wishes for you, you appreciating him or her. If that the case, and somebody who is making good wishes for countless beings, then that becomes appreciable, goes, how to say, that becomes appreciable without saying. You don't have to mention about it. If the first is appreciable, then the second one will make it. This is kind of like a common sense you want us to use to understand the value of bodhicitta through common sense. This is also, we call this is through logic. He's giving evidence, the value of bodhicitta through analogy, through logic, or through common sense. And then next stanza. Okay, so now before this stanza, we need to understand this bodhicitta a little bit. Actually, bodhicitta itself, what really it means, it explained later exactly what bodhicitta means. But since we have explained the aspiration bodhicitta and the application bodhicitta, that we little bit understand what the bodhicitta is. The bodhicitta is kind of like a, so far we can understand bodhicitta is the one sense of concerning well-beings, right? Sense of concerning well-beings. There's no number, no limitation, no particular, or I have sense of concern about you, not just like that. That's not bodhicitta. That's not bodhicitta. This is limit, right? Bodhicitta should be the limitless. The fact it has to go even to your enemies. You have to be able to make yourself that kind of sense. Even you can reach to your enemies as well. When you be able to reach that kind of sense, even to your enemies, then yes, you are getting close there, bodhicitta. You can say, now I am getting close to have a bodhicitta completely. So, and then that bodhicitta is also not kind of like a, how to say, not kind of like a willing to just help them from temporarily. No, and then that's not considered bodhicitta. Complete bodhicitta, not. For example, like I have a sense of concerned well-beings. Then that concern, if my concern is only, may those poor overcome from their poorness. If I limited my concern about well-beings, is this at this stage, then that's not complete bodhicitta. And it is good emotion. It is very kind of like a kind-hearted. Yeah.
The bodhicitta be considered a law.
Sorry.
Would bodhicitta will be considered a law?
A law.
A law.
Alone. What?
It's a law.
A law.
Law.
Law. L-O-W, law.
Yeah.
Oh, not law. It is our own choice.
Okay.
This is not a law, so something that, you must. It is not like that. But when it describing its flavor, then you might like to have it. So that's all. So it is just like that, describing about some very delicious food. When you heard more about this food, then you might like to have it. But that is not law that you have to have it. Yeah. So, okay. So if my concerns of well-being is just to overcome their poorness, okay? If I limited my concerns of well-being in that level, then that is kind heart. Yes, absolutely. Good heart, kind heart. But that we not call bodhicitta. Okay? And then really what kind of concerns about well-being we call bodhicitta is the concerns of well-being absolutely let overcome their poverty, not let overcome that temporary problem, and also to let overcome their root of poverty. Root of poverty and root of pain whatsoever. The concerns about well-being. Okay, somebody is very sick. Let's imagine somebody is very sick, and my sense of concern about that person is to just overcome that pain. If I limited my concerns about him, concerns about well-being like that way, and that is good-hearted, kind-hearted, but that is not become the bodhicitta. Bodhicitta means which further you all have that intention to even get rid of its root, not just let overcome from its temporary problem, but also willing to get rid of, or the willing to deal with its root, the resources, kind of like a willing to remove its resources, not just itself, its resources. That kind of sense, concerns of well-beings, is considering as a bodhicitta. And bodhicitta also has two types which we already gone, that aspiring bodhicitta and application bodhicitta. Aspiring is even just willing to get rid of these two things. This also we can consider as a bodhicitta, as long as you are including its source. Okay, its source. So you have to understand this. And then that kind of sense or the concerns about well-beings called bodhicitta. Okay. So therefore, when you understand this, then you will understand this, what Shantideva mean here, this stanza number 23. What he is saying is this: Pam Yana Mayano, Sula Dindra Pensemyu, Hada Kanson Namgyano, Sambalayan di Yotam. That he is raising question. That he's saying this: could our father or our mother, actually who love most to oneself, isn't it? There's no greater love we can receive from our parent than any others, isn't it? Now here, Shantideva, he's saying this: could our father or our mother ever have so generous a wish? That kind of wish. Now you have to check. Did my father have that wish for me? Did my mother have that wish for me? Right? And further, Shantideva is saying, do the ever gods the rishis, even Brahma herbor, I don't know what is a herbor. Brahma herbor. What does it mean? Brahma herbor. Do the very gods, the rishis, even Brahma harbor such a benevolence as this? Question mark. He put a question mark with it, as you can see, and then it's with a question mark. He's kind of like this is something like a directly asking question, indirectly saying no. Directly, he's raising question to you. You check. Did you receive like this kind of wish from your father ever? Your mother ever? Did you receive that kind of wish from those God to whom you are worshipping every time? And do you get that kind of wishes from those rishis or Brahmins? Which means he's kind of like willing to include every beings, every normal beings. Let me say this: every normal beings is trying to include here by putting parents there. As long as you are not receiving this kind of wishes from your parent, then your relative friends goes without saying, isn't it? Goes without saying. But it does not mean that our parent we are not receiving from our own parent that wishes. It's very clear. They make that wish. Oh, you may get well soon, or you may get a nice husband, you may get nice wife, you may get nice baby, you may get good wealth, you may get prosperous your life. That kind of wish we receive from our parent, yes. And also we receive the kind of like a good wishes from our parent, like when we get ill, diseases. Yes, our parent make wishes for us to get overcome from that kind of illness and diseases, right? But the other one, as I said earlier, what there is lacking is the second one, that we don't receive the wishes from them to get rid of its resources, its root. That we are not receiving the wishes from them. It is not because we are, we are not receiving that. Okay, we are not receiving that because they don't willing to. It is not because they don't want to make wish that way. It is not because they are not willing to do for you. It is because they don't know how to make it this. They have no idea about this. Therefore, they are not making wishes for you. It is not because they intentionally not making wishes for you. It is because they don't know how to make it that wish. Therefore, we are not receiving that kind of wish, even from one's very dear, one's very dearest, isn't it? One's very dearest. Even from boyfriend, girlfriend, you won't receive that kind of wish. Even you don't receive that kind of wish from your husband. You don't receive that kind of wish from your wife. You don't receive that kind of wish from your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Because It is not because they don't want to make. It is because they don't know how to make that second wish. And especially not studying the value of bodhicitta like this way, then we have no idea what bodhicitta is. When we have no idea what bodhicitta is, then how one could make that wishes? There's no way we could make it that wishes. Right? So therefore it is, the Shantideva is saying that, could our father or our mother ever have so generous a wish like this to me? Question mark. Directly. Indirectly he's saying no. No, not because of they don't want, as I said earlier, right? No, because they don't know how to make that wish. They only know how to make it this temporary wish, circumstances wish. And then further, again, okay, further he's going like this. And Semjen Deda Midla Mun Rangi Dundu Dendre Sem Milam Duyam Mamina Shenju Dundu Kala Games. Now here's this stanza number 24. It's saying, for in the past they never even their dreams wished something like this. Something like this means the way bodhisattvas make wishes for others. Right? Something like this. Even for themselves, yes. If they know how to make that kind of wish themselves, then they will definitely make wishes for you too. But they don't know that kind of, they don't have that kind of wish even for themselves. And how they can make wishes for you? Such a things they don't have what they can give you. Therefore, how could they do so for another sex? Right? Another sec, S-A-K, sec. Right? Another sex. I'm using the another sec. I want to sake. What? Sake, not sack. Sake. S-A-K-E. Sake. Yeah, sake. And if I want to include plural, then just add an S. No add? No add? Okay. Okay. So here he is raising question. For in the past, they never even in their dream wished something like this, even for themselves. And therefore, how could they do so for others' sake? Others' sake, right? Others' sake. Others' sake. Yeah. Others' sake.
For the sake of others.
Sake of others. Yeah. Or here they translated others' sake. Others' sake. Yeah. So now you understand why they couldn't make that kind of wishes for you. Why your father cannot make that wishes for you. Why your mother cannot make that kind of wishes for you. Because in the past, they never, even in the dream, such a wished something like this, even made it for themselves. Because they don't know that how to make it that wish. Mm-hmm. Since they don't know, then how could they do so for others' sake? For you. How your parent can do for you. Since they have no idea about this bodhicitta, about this concerning about well-beings. Right? Here again, concern about concerns about sense of concerned well-beings has a level, right? As I mentioned, level. And just willing to overcome their temporary problem, yes, it is. It is the concern of well-beings, isn't it? But that concern well-beings, we don't call bodhicitta. That's not bodhicitta. That's all I want you to understand. Plus, in order to become a bodhicitta, it is good heart. Yes, it is kind heart. But that kind heart is not enough, sufficient to become a bodhicitta. Still, in order to become a bodhicitta, that sense, it needs more equipment. Let's say more equipment or more requirement, further requirement.
Go deeper.
Yeah, little.
Deeper to the cause.
Yeah, go deeper to the cause. You have to know how to make wishes to get rid of it cause either, not just its result. It cause. Then it becomes bodhicitta. So why our parent cannot make this for us? Because they ever have for themselves that kind of wish. Such when they don't ever have for themselves, how they can make it for us? This is what he is saying. Directly he is raising this question, indirectly he is saying, no, they don't.
Yeah, because a lot of our sicknesses and illnesses we create. So it's about how to get to the root. So when we create an illness within ourselves, it's okay. So how do we cause that, and what do we have to do to eliminate that? Am I right on that?
No. This is right now. It is just talking about wish. Just talking about wish. Even a wish. It is not talking about you know exactly what is the cause and you know exactly how to deal with the cause. It is not talking about that. It is just talking, even they don't have a wish to solve that cause. They just have a wish to remove that result. Yes, because the result is very obvious.
Right.
Right now you are undergoing the pain or whatsoever difficulties is something very obvious, which we can directly perceive. But the cause, why he or she is paining, why he or she is getting into trouble, the cause is not obvious, right? Cause is something hidden behind, right? Here, it is not talking about you understand all this cause very well and you making wish to get rid of that cause. It is not talking about that. Even within a normal people, even they don't dare to think about its cause. Knowing what is the exact cause is far. Even they don't dare to focus on that cause. They just focus what is obvious. That's it. That's we do. We do in this world. We just trying to solve the very temporary problem because we are not dealing with the exact cause. So therefore, cause is still remain there, and which we're gonna produce the result later. 100% sure. Even you solve this temporary problem, but since cause is there, cause will produce its result later. Just example like a branches of tree. If you don't want that tree, just cutting all the branches is not a good idea for you to not have that tree in front of you. It's better to cut from its root. Then there will not going to happen any branches anymore later.
But trees are beautiful, so we should.
No, I mean, this is example. Don't cut your tree, okay? You don't have to cut your tree. No. Tree, we need it. We need it on this planet to protect our planet.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this is now Shantideva's kind of like actually Shantideva, he's trying to making this, even by these examples, that Shantideva is trying to introduce us that to feel the value of bodhisattva. Even normally, whom we consider as a very good person for oneself, even they don't have that kind of wish. And further, this stanza number 25. Shenda rangi tuendo yang mijung semjen tan semkang semjirin chen kebar di ngana mebi mechik chungans. And this aim to bring about the benefit of beings, a benefit that others wish not even for themselves. This noble, jewel-like state of mind arise truly wondrous, never seen before. What do you getting it by this stanza? What you are understanding?
Can you repeat it again?
It says then, this aim to bring about the benefit of beings, a benefit that others wish not even for themselves. And we just gone through talk about this before, right? Therefore, it is called this noble jewel-like state of mind. Jewel-like state of mind. Arise truly wondrous, never seen before. Jewel-like state of mind. Why it is called jewel-like state of mind? Actually, it is because of the among the emotion or among the concept, and there's no greater concept than this.
Wishing good for, removing the
well-beings,
yeah.
kind of like among the concept. Normally, we have many different concepts, right? Many different emotions, many different concepts. Among the concept, isn't it the best concept, you can say? Isn't it the greatest concept among the concept which normally I have?
Yeah, because that will heal whatever is causing the problem in the first place.
Yeah, so therefore this Shantideva was saying like this. So, arise truly wondrous, never seen before. Arise truly, ngana may be magic tunes. Actually here, ngana may be magic tune. In this Tibetan, this stanza, let me try to tell here this accordance with my English. It is saying that the stanza number 24, it explained, even your dearest one, they are not being able to have that kind of wishes for themselves. So therefore, there's no way you will gonna receive from them that kind of wishes.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, the other beings, even since they are not being able to raise that kind of wish for themselves, and the person, on the other hand, other persons who are being able to make wishes for well-beings, others, isn't it the jewel-like state of mind? The person whoever be able to make it.
State of mind.
Yes, I said that among the concept, isn't it? The person who ever be able to raise or generate within themselves like that kind of emotion or that kind of concept. And Shantideva was saying, it is such a kind of like a truly wondrous. Truly wondrous. Wonder? Truly wondrous. They explain like this. Truly wondrous. The wondrous is actually what you have. There's no sense of hoping and no sense of it is like that, wondrous.
It's a different one. Wonderful, impressive.
Or which means very beautiful or impressive. Yeah, Shantideva is saying, isn't it truly wondrous?
The highest state of consciousness.
Highest concept among the concept, right?
Only not consciousness.
Consciousness or concept, whatsoever, is the highest consciousness, or we can call is the highest concept.
No, highest state of consciousness.
High state of consciousness.
One of the highest state of consciousness.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are more
There's more levels.
more levels, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. The more level is going beyond concept.
Yeah.
So we can say greatest concept.
Yeah. Okay.
No problem.
All right.
When we add more and it goes beyond.
Yeah.
And when it goes beyond, it is out of concept, right? So it is not belongs to concept category. So you don't have to worry. Among the concept, this is the greatest concept. Okay? And then Lala may be magic tones. Doa kunji gavi yu, the next stanza. Doa kunji gavi yu, simjen dumatsil jiba, rinjen simji sunam kam tela chidar shaji lamas. So now he is kind of like raising a question directly and indirectly. He's saying no again, same like before. That's how he is saying here. And this, the pain dispelling draft. What is draft? G-R-A-F-T.
Or draft?
Uh-huh.
Like drafting somebody into the army? Or like a draft
There.
in terms of like air coming through.
Draft is like a wave, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a wave?
Yeah.
Drafting. That's what I remember, but I don't really get it. What is this word is? The pain dispelling the draft. Dispelling draft. What is that? The stanza number 26. The pain dispelling draft. This cause of joy for those who wander through the world. This precious attitude, this jewel of mind, how shall we calculate its merit? Question mark. And directly he is asking this question, how shall we calculate its merit? But indirectly it's saying, no, you cannot calculate this. That why we cannot calculate this is, the reason is given in a different great masters, they give a different reasons why we cannot calculate the amount of merit which we are accumulating through having a sense of concerned well-beings. Why? Because they give these reasons. They're not different. Masters have a different idea to produce, to instruct, to give us the idea why it is incalculable. Incalculate?
Mm-hmm.
Why it is incalculable. And they're giving reason like because of the number of the being and the type of suffering and number of quality, the stage of Buddha. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the sense of concerning well-beings, which we call this bodhicitta, aspiring bodhicitta, okay? This is not talking about the application bodhicitta. We are not talking about application bodhicitta here. This stanza number 21 to the until now, this 26, it's all talking about the aspiration bodhicitta, benefit of aspiration bodhicitta. The actual benefit is taught in the two stanza, first two stanza, 21 and 22. And then rest, it is giving us to understand further value of aspiration bodhicitta. Such even your dearest don't have this. And this is what you call such a jewel-like state of mind. The truly wondrous. And by having those truly wondrous, the amount of merit that which we can accumulate is unfathomable. Right? Incalculable. Immeasurable or unfathomable, right? Or infinite. We can just say also it is infinite, so therefore you can't calculate. So why it is infinite now? Then the reason why it is infinite, then different masters having this reason because of the number of beings, as I told you earlier, because of the quality of state of Buddha. Because in that sense of aspiration bodhicitta, you're putting numberless of being in you for your object, isn't it? You have a countless number of being. The merit which you are accumulating by having that sense of concerned well-being is equal to the number of beings. Therefore, the equal to the number of beings, so therefore, number of the being is countless. Therefore, the merit which you're getting is countless, incalculable. That's the one reason. Different masters giving these different reasons why it is incalculable. Okay? Some masters just stop there. It is incalculable. So they don't want you to think more. So just leave it here. If you want to think more, then they will give you this idea. Why it is incalculable? Because the number of your object is incalculable. That's one reason. Likewise, within that wishes, the type of the suffering which you get rid of for others is incountable. Type of the suffering, right? Type of the suffering which you wanna remove for them is incountable. Therefore, the merit which you are getting it by having that sense of concerned well-being is incountable. That's another reason they're giving. And likewise, the third reason they're giving is the quality which you wanna provide them, which is enlightened in short. But the quality of enlightened is immeasurable. Therefore, the merit which you are accumulating through having this sense of concern about well-beings is incountable. If we want to use logic. If not, then some teachers, those great masters, just go like stop there, not mentioning about any further reason to make others confused. If you don't want to get confused, you can stop there. It is incountable. That's it. You don't have to go why. If you want if you need answer why, then these are the answers why. Why? Because of this. Why? Because of that. Why? Because of this. Shantideva himself here, he stopped. He didn't provide any reasons. He stopped. You cannot calculate. That's it. The merit, amount of the merit which you are accumulating through having that aspiration bodhicitta is incountable. He just stopped there. That's why he said, how shall we calculate its merit? Question mark. Which means we will not be able to calculate its merit. But however, kind of like in order for you to have a kind of like, how can I say this? In order for you to have how much merit one could accumulate by having that aspiration bodhicitta. And let me tell you, based on what Shakyamuni Buddha taught to his friend king. Just I'm telling you so you can have a roughly estimation what kind of by having that aspiration bodhicitta within oneself. Actually, maintaining aspiration bodhicitta is not hard, right? Sense of concerning well-being. Sense of concerning well-being, you don't lose anything. Is that? Yes. You don't lose anything. But you gain something that which is incountable. As Shantideva just now he said it. Application bodhicitta, then you might lose something. Right? But we thought about difference between aspiration bodhicitta and application bodhicitta already. Now you decide which one. We just gone through before. Difference between just maintaining aspiration bodhicitta and the application bodhicitta. Right? Application bodhicitta, even not paying attention, still you accumulate the merit, the countless, constantly, continuously, which aspiration bodhicitta does not have that quality. So that's the difference. So then after, it's up to you which one you want to choose. Or you don't want to choose either of them, or you want to choose just one of them, or you want to choose both of them. That's completely on you. But let me tell you now, since this Shantideva said it is incountable, right? Maintaining the aspiration bodhicitta within oneself has a potential to accumulate the merit which is incountable. He said it, right? Then roughly for you to have how it is incountable. Then let me tell you this based on this Shakyamuni Buddha, what he said to his friend king. In a sutra which called this Bhagwan Yalbula Dambito, which means that he instructed to his friend king. When he instructed to his friend king, that sutra called, the title of that sutra, instructing the sublime king sutra. Okay, that's the title of sutra. Where Shakyamuni Buddha taught to him, he said this, Gyalbo Chimbo, Chu Chawa Mawa Cheba Mawa Des. First, let me read in Tibetan, okay? Chu Chawa Mawa Cheba Mawa Des. Namba Tamjedu, Jimbi Parudu Chimba Ne, Sherabji Parudu Chimbi Par Labar Miniki. Ewena Jalbo Chimbo Kyo, Yandabar Zobi Changchubla, Dumba, Teba, Dunyer, Memba, Droyang Rung, Drenyang Rung, Dukyang Rung, Nyalayang Rung, Setyang Rung, Sayang Rung, Tungyang Rung, Tabar Jundu Chamber Gila, Yela Sunde Gomshapes. Jalbo Chimbo Kyo, Tetar Shebi gave it Savi, Leji, number Mimbe, Len Tumar Hai Nandu Keshi, Len Tumar Mi Nandu Kede, Tam Chedu, Wan Sheber Jurjang, Tatung Seber Mijuro. Very long sentence. He said this to his friend King in that sutra. Which means, now let me try to translate here, what he said to his friend King is that he said, "Oh great King," he called him to him, "Oh great King, you are doing so many things, right? You are doing so many things right now, which means you are so busy right now. You are doing so many things because he's ruling kingdom and he's taking care of the queens or taking care of the, I don't know, palace, taking care of the minister, taking care of the people. He's busy, very busy, right? Maybe like our prime minister. Is he busy? I don't know. Is Donald Trump is busy?
Very.
Very busy.
Just like that, we can imagine, compare this with the ancient king, ancient time king. Ancient time king is the one who taking care of everything for their country, right? But they are a lazy king too. So similar like that, there could be lazy prime minister and president too. But that the Shakyamuni, friend of the Shakyamuni Buddha, he is kind of like he wanted to practice some spiritual, but he had no time to practice spiritual. So he's requesting me to maintain both. Right? And then this is Shakyamuni Buddha. Actually, this Shakyamuni Buddha, what he's really saying is the what do you call it? The amount. He's just giving us the amount of merit, how much amount of merit which we can accumulate by having that aspiration bodhicitta. That exactly he's saying this to his king. He called it like this. You are so busy, you are doing so many things. Okay? Chawa mama. Cheba mama des. And you will gonna do so many things in the future. That's showing the future. You are doing so many things right now. After you completed this, your job will not gonna complete. Your job will not gonna finish. Therefore, he's saying this. Chawa mama, cheba mama. Chawa mama means right now you are doing so many things. Cheba mama means still in the future you have to do so many things. Right? Your job will not gonna cease until you give up your king. And therefore, Shakyamuni Buddha told him that all the aspect constantly you will not be able to engage yourself into those spiritual paths, such as a perfection of generosity practice, and through all the 6 perfection practice, perfection of wisdom, that I know you won't be able to engage yourself into those spiritual paths. Therefore, Devena, therefore, great king, you that keep it this pure, complete, willing to achieve enlightenment. Pure, complete, willing to achieve enlightenment. That sense, you keep it with the inclination. You keep it this sense with inclination. You keep it this sense with the faith and confident. You keep it this sense with the interest. You keep it this sense with your aspiration. Okay, is giving like this. All of this can be go in one stage of mind. Okay? But we say inclination, faith, confidently, or interest, with this interest, with the confident, with inclination, with the faith, with the aspirations. Keep it. Shakyamuni Buddha is saying, keep it those things within yourself. With these, you keep it this with inclination. You keep it this with the faith. You keep it this with confidence. You keep it this with aspiration, with aspiring yourself, right? You keep it this with interest. And you keep it this while you're walking, doyang. While you're walking, try to keep it with you. It doesn't bother you anything. You can keep it this while you're walking, and while you're standing up, while you're sitting, or while you're sleeping, while you're waking up, while you're eating, while you're drinking. All the time, constantly, if you keep it, remind yourself this pure, complete, willing to achieve enlightenment with the inclination, with the faith, with the confidence. If you do that, then he said, great king, you, by doing that, the amount of merit which you are accumulating, that merit have this potential to give a result of not just right now, even in the future, many lifetimes, that merit becomes for you, that merit becomes cause for you to be born again and again in a God realm, become a God. And that merit will also become the cause for you to become again and again the king, just like you right now. And then he's saying, what do you call it? Whenever you're becoming God, whenever you become the king of human, all the time, that all the time you will become kind of like a very potential person, kind of like a what do you call it? That you will be able to protect or save, help other beings.
You say like an evolved being.
Evolved being. You will be able to become evolved being.
Oh, yeah.
Evolved being. What does it? Evolved being.
You go higher, you know, higher, above the rest of the people.
Higher awareness.
More awareness.
More awareness. Not just more awareness, also you have more power to support, to help many people.
Positive power, right?
Power.
We become stronger with it.
Positive power.
You not just becoming God and King. No, just becoming God and King is sometimes useless. Right? Therefore, the Shakyamuni Buddha saying, even within those, when you become a God, the King of human, many times that merit has this power to give you this life after life. And within those, while you become a king and God, within those time, also you have this power with it. Not just useless God, not just useless king. Okay? Evolved being, evolved king, evolved God. That merit has that, that merit can produce the result of this. Which means still the power of this merit will not gonna exhaust. It will exist. Still that merit. And the fact now it is like that. Maintaining aspiration bodhicitta, you utilized it actually. You utilized it to become a king many times, become a god many times, and within a god and king also become a involved king, involved god. You are utilizing all this merit to become all these things. It seems like that what you did and what you get is something very kind of like not fair actually. Direct, if you say direct, it is not fair. You did little job and you get so big result, right? You get so much, but you did only very little. But Shakyamuni Buddha saying, still the power of merit, that merit will exist with you. It will not gonna exhaust. Even you utilize all this by having all this, becoming all this king, God, and evil king and evil God. You understand how he is instructing here in this sutra about the aspiration bodhicitta. Through aspiration bodhicitta, what we can accumulate the merit, the value of that merit now. Value of that merit. Therefore, Shantideva, he just stopped there, right? It is incountable. That's it. So how it is incountable? So therefore, I'm trying to give you some idea how it is incountable. And this is the how it is incountable. Are you getting it, what I'm trying to say here? You got it?
I think
seems like you're
yeah, I think so. So what you're trying to say is that it's because it just goes on and on and on.
Goes on and on and on, yes.
Yeah.
But still it will not gonna exhaust. Still it will gonna exist with you.
Yeah. Because you have to go on helping people. It's not just helping one or two people in a day. I mean, there might be 50 in a day that need help. There might be 100 in a day that need help.
Mm-hmm.
There might be 300 in a day that need help. So you just continue helping those who are open and who want the help.
Here, this is not talking about help. Here, it's talking about just wish. Just wish. Just wish. It's not talking about application. It is not talking about application. Even you're just maintaining that wish, right. Willing to help.
Right.
You're not really helping.
Oh, okay.
Willing to help.
Right.
Keep continuing that willing to help. You're not really helping, actually.
Okay.
Just keep willing to helping. That's what Shakyamuni Buddha.
Wishing well for all humanity, for example, countries are in war, hospitals, children hungry, so many stress in the world. So wishing that all those things will end.
Yes.
So just wishing that
you
accomplish so many things, uncountable things at the end. and it will be
Reward.
unending, unending reward.
Yes. Okay. This is what he's introducing here. But normally, we human beings not really getting it by this. No, we are thinking just wishing is doing nothing, or it doesn't have any affection. We don't believe in this affection.
We don't believe in the power of it.
Power of it, yes. We don't believe. We don't believe in the power of willing. Now the Shakyamuni Buddha and here this Shantidevas, those ancient great masters, they saying just willing has this kind of potential.
Okay. No, I get it. Yeah.
Okay, with that, now he completed talking about the benefit of aspiration bodhicitta with the analogy, with the common sense using. And now, from here, he's going to, is starting to talk about the beneficial of application bodhicitta now. Application bodhicitta from here. And this first stanza that he is trying to give us a reason or the evidence, and again using through our common sense to understand the benefit of application bodhicitta.
Is common sense the same as intuition?
Huh?
Is common sense the same as intuition?
Intuition.
Intuition. When you know something.
Feeling.
Yes, you know that feeling.
Common sense is feeling, right?
You intuit something that you know something that's there. It's already there.
Common sense is something like that, which are a little easy to understand. If you use your common, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? It's common sense, like you don't have to go very deep to understand those things. You can understand those things by using very simple common. Just like this is mid, just like this is midday, right? Midday of the July. And sitting here, but I can make common sense that, oh, if I go outside, I should better to take off this cloth and go out. Otherwise, I will gonna get wet, sweat. This is common sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I won't, okay? I will go like this. Many people nowadays, summer, they take everything out and they walk on the street. Right? Okay, so now from here he talks about the benefit of application bodhicitta, which he already taught it through advice and through recommendation or through whatsoever we call. How we can call this? Historically, he taught it a little bit, or the advisedly he taught it a little bit. Now here he wants us to use our common sense, which means also he's trying to prove it with the intelligence, with the logic.
Okay.
With the logic. Now this is so easy. If we understand, if we utilize the common sense understanding the aspiration bodhicitta, then this is easy. Then this is not hard to utilize the common sense. Since we used it, our common sense with the aspiration bodhicitta, and we got it. If we got that and understand using common sense and getting it, the benefit of application bodhicitta is much more easy. How it is easy? Yeah, we can say here. Pember samba zamji jang sanji chule kepana semjen malu tamji ji dedun sumba ejigwe. This is one stanza. He wants us to use common sense to understand the application bodhicitta's benefit. that is going. This is stanza number 27. If the simple thought to be of help to others exceeds in worth the worship of the Buddhas, then what need is there to speak of actual deeds that bring about the will? Question mark. We put it this with a question mark.
Can you repeat it again?
Say, if the simple thought to be of help to others, which we've gone through, we talked more about aspiration bodhicitta before, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it the simple thought? Willing to help is a simple thought. This is just simple. You don't have to lose anything. You don't have to do anything. Just you're raising. Right?
Yeah.
If the simple thought to be of help to others exceeds, what do you got? Exceeds. Exceeds.
Yeah.
Actually, you know one thing, we don't have to compare this to here. We don't need to compare this to. Here, Shantideva is letting us compare these two actions. The simple thought to be of help to others exceeds in worth the worship of the Buddha. He is comparing these two actions. Right? But actually, on the other hand, that since we understood it, that value of aspiration bodhicitta, for us, we don't necessarily to compare this with it. We already understand that aspiration bodhicitta, which is the sense of concerning well-being action, through that action, the amount of merit is incountable, can be accumulated, right? If that's the case, with that willing, somebody actually is doing it, then it goes without saying, isn't it? Not just he is keeping willing. Willing together, he's doing it actually. With it diligently, he's putting into application. Then that goes without saying. But here, Shantideva, in order to give us a sense of understanding the benefit of application bodhicitta, first he is letting us compare this simply loving kindness and the loving kindness action and the action of offering Buddha. This is now, if you don't have idea about the action of offering Buddha, how much amount of merit you can accumulate it, then this comparison is not really working there. Shantideva, he is assuming that you understand the action of offering to the Buddha is huge. He is assuming that, okay? Based on that, and he is letting us compare these two.
That powerful and great.
He is letting us compare the action of the offering to the Buddha and the action of just raising the loving kindness. These two actions, the one action, in order to complete, you need to do so many things, isn't it? You have to have things to offer to the Buddhas. You have to have Buddha to whom you can offer. You have to have a time, everything. But just raising the loving kindness, you can raise this You don't need it many conditions as to act on an offering to the Buddhas. Compared with this too. This no need so many conditions like others. But yet, the merit which we are accumulating through these two different actions, he's saying much more you will be accumulated by raising the loving kindness than the offering to Buddha. You understand what he is trying to say?
Do you mean bodhicitta instead of loving kindness?
Just loving kindness. Here, he not using bodhicitta, even not bodhicitta. Just loving kindness. Just loving kindness, not bodhicitta. He is not using bodhicitta here. Just raising loving kindness for anybody. That action and the action of offering to the Buddha. Two different actions, right? And consequences of the two different actions will be the difference. Absolutely, because of two different actions. But what is meant through the raising loving kindness is much more than the action of offering to the Buddha. This is Shantideva saying, based on you understanding, you already understood that offering to the Buddha action is huge. It is huge. He's just assuming you understood that already. He's not further explaining why offer to the Buddha is so great. He's not explaining that. Right? And therefore, I told you from the beginning, this is already starting the Mahayana path. He wants us to use common sense. If that's the case, and somebody who is not just willing to help all the sentient beings, but also with the diligently, he is putting himself or herself to deal with it. Then the how to say? Then what to say? The consequences.
The outcome.
Yeah, the consequences of with the diligently oneself engaging into it is bigger.
The return.
Absolutely. It goes without saying. That's what he's saying. It's in magic words. Yeah. If the simple thought to be of help to others exceeds in worth the worship of the Buddha, it is exceeding, right? It is much more, which means it is much more than the action of offering to Buddha. If that's the case, what need is there to speak of somebody who is actual deeds that bring about the will and benefit of beings? Question mark. Right? Same. Directly he is questioning, indirectly he is saying, yes, it goes without saying. With that, he's letting us use the common sense. Do you understand how he's letting us use our own intelligence to understand the value of application bodhicitta here within this stanza? Did you get it? How he is using? Okay, maybe stop here. We will go continue tomorrow. Okay, so if you have question, we can discuss. We have 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's pretty straightforward.
No question. Still
No,
forward.
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Just makes sense then. Yeah, when it just makes sense, no need to raise question.
Mhm.
So doubt is solved.
It's true.
No doubt there. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So we dedicate merit and eat lunch. Today Anila dedicated his food here. We have food. So please enjoy after this dedication.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very kind.
Okay, so we'll do dedication here. Sunam de Tamje Sibani, Tomne Be Janam Tamjini, Jega Nachi, Walla Tubai, Sibi Jole, Doan Rovar Show, Jambal Pawe, Jitarakim, Kundu Zambo, Dean Dejinde, the Da Kunji, Jesu Daloji, Givan Da Tamji Rabdu Mo, Givan De Sheo, Sunam Yeshi, Sozoni, Sunam Yeshi, Late. Tamba Kunyin, Tobarasho, Sanjay Kusum Nibi, Chinlamda, Chunyi Minjur Dembi Chinlamda, Gendon Michi Dembi Chin, Chidaramoa Melam Dubarasho. So read in English. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished the harmful enemies, greed, anger, delusion, may I liberate all being tossed about helplessly by the wave of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous mental symbols and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue, may all being perfectly achieve the accumulation of merit, sunam, and wisdom, yeshi, and may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies which result from these two accumulation. By the blessing of the Buddha, Sangye, who obtained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of the Dharmata, Chunyin, by the blessing of the infallible aspiration of the Sangha, Gendon, may this prayer of dedication be accomplished just as it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.